The thing I'm investing in, and not because I expect to make a ton of money on it, it's because I think because it's zero CO2, because the economics are so good, is a fourth generation design. And there are many fourth generation designs. This one is very, very attractive from an economic point of view. I mean, way cheaper than today's nuclear power.
We had Nathan Myhrvold here last year, but can you explain a little bit about how this technology works?
Okay, basically...
And you're just among friends here.
Yeah, absolutely. The part of uranium that's fissile, that is that when you hit it with a neutron, it splits in two, is about 0.7%. And when you break a uranium atom in two, you get 1,000,000 times as much energy as you do from burning a carbon molecule. So you think, wow, this is good technology. It's 1,000,000 times better. Now you have to take that factor of 1,000,000 advantage and say, oh, crumb, that stuff that it splits into, that's radioactive. That's cesium, some bad stuff. Some short half-lives, that means it's intensely radioactive. Some long half-lives, that means that it's around for a long time. So basically, the reactors we have today are burning that 0.7%. And that works fairly well. There was a concept a long time ago that you would do a different type of reactor called a fast reactor that would make a bunch of another element called plutonium. And then you would pull that out, and then you would burn that. That's called breeding in a fast reactor. That is bad because plutonium's nuclear weapons material, it's messy. The processing you have to get through is not only environmentally difficult, it's extremely expensive. The concept of this so-called TerraPower reactor is that in the same reactor, you both burn and breed. And so instead of making plutonium and then extracting it, we take uranium, the part that the 99.3% that you normally don't do anything with, we convert that and we burn it. So it's like a candle. A candle wax doesn't burn at room temperature. It's the flame converts it to be a liquid, and that burns. So this is just like a candle. Our flame is taking the normal depleted uranium, the 99.3% that's cheap as heck, and there's a pile of it sitting in Paducah, Kentucky, that's enough to power the United States for hundreds and hundreds of years. You're taking that and you're converting it to plutonium, and then you're burning that. And we have super high power densities. We have total fail-safe. Any reactor that a human has to do something, that's a little scary.
What's the scale? Is scale important here, or is it the same scale?
The TerraPower reactor, the current design is about the same scale. That is, typically it's somewhere around a gigawatt type design. Because of the surface to volume ratio things, the first design we're doing doesn't scale down very well. Now we have another design that works for the smaller type, the more like 100 megawatt, 200 megawatt design. But our first design, which on paper really works well. And one thing to point out is that digital simulation, and this applies to all these energy technologies, the ability to digitally simulate things is night and day different than in the past. So when they built, say, the reactor at Fukushima, their ability to simulate things was very limited. They wouldn't really know. We take our reactor, we have magnitude 10 earthquakes, we have volcanoes blow over, we have tidal waves passing by, and we look and we say, oh, okay, let's put some more concrete in. You can understand what's going to happen digitally in a way that you never could before. And so the idea of full passive safety, Gen 3 takes us to much, much, much better passive safety, not full passive safety. Gen 4, whoever's Gen 4 gets built, will be a no human required, no zirconium turning into hydrogen to explode type design.
Timetable for TerraPower?
Okay, this is really fast. You're going to be amazed. By 2022, if everything goes perfectly, our demo reactor will be in place. And by 2028, again, assuming everything continues to go perfectly, it will be a design that could be replicated and built in many, many, many places. You could build, at that point, because you have no fuel constraint and according to me, you have extremely good economics, good safety, no proliferation, no waste, then you could go nuts.
If everything goes perfectly.
Absolutely.
How often does everything go perfectly?
In nuclear, well, you know, if you ignore, no, come on. If you ignore 1979 and 1986 and 2011, come on, we've had a good century. No, seriously, I mean, in terms of raw figures, you know, coal mining, natural gas, more people die. I mean, it wasn't far from here, a natural gas, you know, pipe blew up and incinerated people. And so, you know, it's important to keep in perspective that nuclear energy in terms of a overall safety record is better than other energy.
Okay, so we